confirm that the Governor of Edo State, Mr. GODWIN N. OBASEKI, is within the precinct of the Hallowed Chamber. He is here to present the 2018 Appropriation Bill and Budget Estimate. If we are all in agreement that the Governor enters the Hallowed Chamber to present the estimate, may we please say aye. Aye. Against the nay, the ayes certainly have it. The 2018 Appropriation Bill and Budget Estimate. That is the order of the day. Your Excellency, will you please step forward to present the budget estimate to the people of Edo State? We are welcome.
After one eventful year as the Governor of our dear state, I wish to express my profound appreciation to the Honorable Speaker and members of the Edo State House of Assembly for your tremendous support to the executive arm of government through your timely responses to our requests for legislation, guidance, and other forms of support. In my maiden budget last year, I declared that my vision for Edo State was to achieve prosperity for our people by leveraging on the comparative advantages and the key factor endowments which we enjoy as a state. Specifically, I promised that we will create economic prosperity and social stability by emphasizing on areas like agriculture, agribusiness, the agribusiness value chain, entrepreneurship, investment in industries, technical and vocational skills. I emphasized that in order to achieve the rapid economic and social transformation which we seek, we will strengthen our institutions, particularly the civil service, the judiciary, and the rule of law, to ensure environmental sustainability and give pride of place to culture and tourism. Mr. Speaker, it is to the glory of God Almighty that 1 year after, I stand here before you, my stewardship on how much we have achieved in our pathway to achieving our mandates. We have made sacrifices to transform the lives of our people for the better and to make Edo State the preferred investment destination in Nigeria. Let me briefly undertake a review of the domestic macroeconomic environment in the year 2017. As you are aware, the macroeconomy of our great country suffered from severe setbacks between 2014 and 2016. However, compared to the economic difficulties which we experienced in 2016, we saw that the economy of Nigeria, which slipped into recession in 2016, began to recover in the first quarter of 2017. In line with expectations, Nigeria's macroeconomic fundamentals have shown remarkable improvements since the start of 2017. And by the second quarter, we were grateful to our president and his economic team for taking Nigeria out of recession. From the recently released Gross Economic Product Report for the third quarter this year, the economy expectedly showed an expansion in total output grew by 1.4%. In terms of inflation, we saw that inflation started to moderate from 18.7% in January to 15.9% in October this year. This moderation is largely attributable to good harvest and reduced pressure on food prices. In the area of external reserves and foreign exchange, we saw an improvement in our external reserves from $26 billion at the start of the year to $34.5 billion on the 23rd of November this year. The rebound in external reserves is mainly driven by improvements in the gross domestic crude oil production and the partial recovery in global oil prices since last quarter of 2016. The improvements in oil production has had positive impacts on the country's trade balance also. The central bank, utilizing several monetary and policy tools, was able to stabilize the official exchange rate at 305.85 naira to $1 US, while the rates in the parallel market also appreciated by 34.6% from 490 naira to the dollar at the beginning of the year to 364 naira to the dollar as at 24th of November this year. Mr. Speaker, beyond these statistics, as a country, we face the future with renewed hope after exiting the worst economic recession we have faced in decades. Our renewed confidence in Edo State is anchored on our achievements in 2017, in which we deployed budgetary tools and instruments to stabilize the economy while the vagaries of the economic recession lasted. As a state, we had our own peculiar challenges, as we could not access the World Bank budget support facility, which we had anticipated in the appropriation. And this necessitated us coming back to you last month to review the 2017 budget. Thankfully, with the reforms in our internal revenue generation systems, with disciplined and creative financial strategies, we were able to fulfill our salary and pension obligations to civil servants and pensioners, respectively. And Mr. Speaker, let me emphasize that as we speak right now, Edo State is one of the few states in Nigeria today that has paid November salaries. We have been able to intervene in the critical sectors of the state, such as in infrastructure, industries, education, health, transportation, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, while not attempting to catalog all we have done in the past 12 months, please permit me to highlight a few. Institutional reforms. In line with our belief that the key to development and reforms are the institutions which drive them. Therefore, we have embarked on processes to make the civil service more efficient and productive to ensure smooth and efficient service delivery. In this regard, we have started revamping the physical environment where our civil servants work by automating the processes and workflows, capacity building, and most critically, in setting for them an agenda for delivery. In my office, we have a standing instruction that any mail that comes into the governor's office must get treated within 48 hours. I am pleased to inform you also that specifically we have started refurbishing the Civil Service Commission building. We are completing Block C of the Secretariat Complex by March next year. We have reconstructed offices in Government House and created more than 100 new offices. We are also constructing a new block in the High Court complex. Also, to ensure that public servants can drive the envisaged reforms, we are determined to rebuild the civil service by retooling and offering capacity building to the entire government workforce. Hence, a fully computerized staff training school has been built in Government House, and we will commence world-class training programs in the new year. The plan is to train every public servant on how to use technology as a tool to enhance service delivery to our people. I am glad to also inform you that we have signed a memorandum of understanding, and we will commence implementation with the United Nations Institute for Training and Research, who have agreed to assist in capacity building of our public servants. Other institutional reforms which we have undertaken include revenue collection reforms, where we have insisted that government revenues must be collected and accounted for by government agencies in a transparent and humane manner. By introducing technology, employing persuasion, education, enlightenment, and law-based sanctions in revenue collection, we have increased the revenues of both the state, but particularly the local governments in Edo State, by over 500% in the last 6 months. In the area of infrastructure, our interventions have been very significant and visible. We have resurfaced, reconstructed, and constructing several kilometers of roads. Mr. Speaker, if I commence reading out the amount of roads, infrastructure, and works we have undertaken in the last 12 months, we will keep you here much longer than you desire. In the area of technical and vocational education, in order to fulfill our promise to create a minimum of 200,000 jobs in my first 4 years in office, we have commenced the rebuilding of our technical colleges, beginning with the Benin Technical College, so that we can have trained, qualified, competent artisans and technicians who can employ themselves and also provide services and manpower to investors who we expect to attract. Edo State has already signed a memorandum with the Nigerian Institute for Welding to ensure appropriate certification and retraining of artisans in the state. Let me use this opportunity to once again thank the World Bank, the Industrial Training Fund, the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, and other agencies and companies who have supported us thus far in this regard. In the area of industrialization, our goal, as we have always stated, is to utilize our endowments, particularly the availability of energy, as our advantage to become a major industrial hub in Nigeria. The groundbreaking ceremony of the multipurpose Benin Industrial Park in Ikobaka local government by His Excellency Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON, a few weeks ago, marked the turning point in the industrialization of Edo State. The design of the Ilushi Agricultural Processing Zone, the Ikuba Production Park, the Edo Auto Mart, and the BTC Innovation Hub have commenced. We have been able to resuscitate the Auchi Fertilizer and Chemical Plant, which is now the only facility of its kind in this part of the country that is available for the presidential program on fertilizer. In the area of health, working with the Federal Ministry of Health, we have domesticated the National Health Act, which is currently before you. And we are finalizing our primary health care bill and also commenced work to establish the Edo State Health Insurance Act. We concluded the procurement process to identify a credible partner that will manage the new central hospital, so as to provide first-rate healthcare services while encouraging medical tourism and creating jobs. We have also started to expand the Stella Obasanjo Women and Child Hospital to accommodate services hitherto offered in the General Hospital. In agriculture and food security, we have keyed into the federal government initiatives and have initiated our own agripreneur program which has successfully undergone a proof of concept in Sobe, where the state government provided and prepared an initial 450 hectares of land for maize cultivation. That is being harvested as we speak. We currently have a land bank of over 10,000 hectares to grow rice, cassava, oil palm, poultry, and piggery within the next 1 year. The strategy of the state is to assist investors to de-risk their agri transactions and leverage on the financing provided by the federal government through its several facilities like the Anchor Borrower programs, FADAMA, etc., to support commercial and smallholder farmers. We are proud that some of the best managed agricultural companies in Nigeria are located in Edo State, and our goal is to benefit from their location and create space and environment to attract even more of such investments. Citizen welfare and protection against irregular migration. We have taken a very tough stance on the crisis of human trafficking and modern-day slavery to protect the very vulnerable citizens in our society. We have established a task force to work with civil society and other stakeholders, including foreign governments, to address the push and pull factors that have encouraged human trafficking. I am glad to announce that as we speak, the state draft bill against trafficking in persons is being considered by the Edo State House of Assembly for passage into law. We are particularly concerned at the incidents of human trafficking because, as you recall, Mr. Speaker, during our visit to the Italian Parliament last week, the dangers of human trafficking was made known to us, and even much more than we ever knew. It is on record that from Edo State alone, over 10,000 people, mostly young people, have been trafficked within the last 1 year, with almost 3,000 of them losing their lives. Mr. Speaker, you will agree with me that we have a crisis in our hands and we should address it urgently. The Edo Jobs Initiative is part of our promise to create a minimum of 200,000 jobs. This initiative has involved the registering of almost 196,000 unemployed people, and to date, we have matched almost 30,000 of these people with job opportunities in the following areas. In the area of C4, we have created 9,000 jobs. In the area of revenue service, 1,500. Construction and electricity distribution, 6,500. Ministry of Women Affairs, 3,000. Private organizations, 1,250. Entrepreneurship interventions, 4,510. And we are still counting. Basic education reforms. Recognizing that the problem of our secondary and tertiary education can be readily traced to the quality, management, and operation of our basic education system, we immediately commenced a system of transforming and strengthening the capacity of the State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB. This is with a view to ensuring that it lives up to its mandate, especially in the area of monitoring and evaluation, capacity building for teachers, focusing on administrative and management structures, and introduced new processes for discipline. This is bound to impact on outcomes of our school activities and performances. As a result, it will lead to the production of employable graduates in the short to long term. In the areas of land reforms, the Geographical Information System, GIS, and housing, Mr. Speaker and members of the House, I want to thank you with the unprecedented collaboration and support of His Majesty Omanobanedo Ukwu-Akpolokpolo, Obaiwai II Ogidigan. We have restored sanity in the land administration and management system in the state. with the timely passage of the Private Property Protection Bill into law. Edo State has now become a reference point in this regard, and other states are now copying these courageous efforts of ours by removing unnecessary encumbrances from our prized land resource to pave the way for speedy growth in the housing sector and the industrialization of our state. To eliminate red tape and corruption in land allocation and land use, and to lay the basis for urban planning and modernization of our cities and towns, we have created a new Edo State Geographical Information System, Edo GIS, that is mainly technology-driven and managed by professionals. Similarly, we have reconstituted the Edo State Property Development Authority, EDPA, and transferred all the functions of the former Ministry of Housing to it, with a new governance arrangement which will allow the agency to drive new initiatives in commercial and social housing. We have established a strong ease of doing business committee to oversee our full compliance with the national ease of doing business processes anchored on truly global standards, as well as a one-stop shop Edo Investment and Business Bureau. This has eliminated bureaucracy from our business environment for faster results and compliance with established rules. Electric power initiatives. Having identified that electricity is a key factor to promoting economic growth and development and our aspirations, we are pleased to inform you that the Azura 450 power mega plants, which was initiated during my predecessor's tenure, will be completed early next year. I am pleased that Edo State is associated with one of Africa's foremost project financing that is ahead of schedule and below cost. We continue to encourage other investors to participate in power generation and have signed a power purchase agreement with Osiomo Power and Infrastructure Company to provide 5 megawatts of power to power government buildings during the day, including these premises, so that we do not suffer this sort of incident next year when we can present our budgets. And that power will be available to light up our street lights at night. In the area of security, let me thank you and our citizens for the patience and understanding they've displayed and shown during the glitch we had in our security arrangements not too long ago. Following that incident, we have redesigned the architectural infrastructure in Edo State to ensure that government can perform its constitutional responsibility to guarantee the safety of life and property. This new architecture is programmed to involve all security agencies, communities, institutions, wards, and local governments in the state. The new security architecture will be unveiled very shortly, certainly before the Christmas holidays. In the area of public transport, we have reorganized our public transportation system, reorganized transport management and traffic control by revamping the Edo State Traffic Management Agency, where we recruited 450 men and women who have been trained to be courteous but firm to ensure that traffic flows through the length and breadth of our cities and state. We have also completed the redesign of the central Benin bus terminal and 4 other mini terminals. And we are confident that once we finish the construction of the Benin bus terminal before September next year, we will ease the current suffering of our people who have to trek long distances to get transport. We're also taking delivery in the next few days of 75 new commuter buses so that we can restock our fleet of the comrade buses which has aged. The Gele Seaport. Our dream is an industrialized state which will be facilitated by the development of the Gele Seaport. We are committed to the realization of this project because of the several socio-economic benefits that are tied to it. Namely, it will serve as a gateway for the exports of processed goods from our industries, create jobs, and boost the other investments that we are currently making. A technical report on the project has been submitted and it's been reviewed for implementation. Mr. Speaker, permit me to also mention some of the other initiatives which we have undertaken in the last 1 year. We believe that it is important that we use this rare opportunity to inform you, the representatives of our people, on what their governments have achieved. We are a government that does not believe in propaganda, that does not believe in a lot of noise making, and therefore it is important for our people to know that whilst not talking much, we have achieved quite a lot in the last 1 year. We have eliminated cronyism and waste in our fiscal system. We have ensured that political appointments are based on need and merit as much as practicable. We have abolished outdated ministries, we have set up new functioning agencies to drive policy implementation, and we have opened up a door state for business and tried to encourage the political system to be inclusive, tolerant, merit-driven, and to consistently adhere to the principles of democratic politics. Mr. Speaker, these reforms are only a stepping stone to leapfrog a door to the future we envision. The area of arts, culture, and tourism is, without contestation, a heritage bequeathed to us by our forefathers and a source of pride to every Edo man and woman. We are repackaging and rebranding the sector through public-private partnerships to harness the job-creating opportunities in the sector and to raise the profile of our artists, entertainers, tour operators, destination managers, hotel owners, and other parties to become the preferred tourist destination in Nigeria. In the area of the judiciary, it is my firm belief that for the judicial arm of government to perform its function effectively, we must equip the people that work there with modern equipment, training, and to build the infrastructures required, such as modern courthouses, and also to prioritize their welfare. To this end, we are providing the enabling environment for the speedy dispensation of justice with the new courthouses we are constructing. We have commenced the process to train court stenographers and to migrate note-taking in courts by hand into a digital platform so that we can save time and improve efficiency. We have also built a befitting edifice to serve as the residence of the Edo State Chief Judge in line with our reform in the sector, and our plan is to ensure that we provide suitable, decent, and proper accommodation to all our judges in Edo State. In the area of sports, we have approved the construction of 20 mini stadia across the state to serve as talent discovery and development grounds for our youths and lovers of sports in the state. Our dear state is first becoming the destination of choice for our national teams who need winning ground for international soccer engagements. To this end, we have completed the redesign of the Obamudia Stadium to include creating a new natural turf, new Spartan tracks, cover the sitting areas to improve the swimming pool complex and the lawn tennis arena to attract international events. We set up a committee to help us review sports in Edo State and how to reposition Edo to regain its past glory in sports and I'm glad to inform you, Mr. Speaker, that that committee, made up of perhaps the best Nigeria can offer in terms of sports administration and sporting activities, have submitted their reports, and one of the recommendations is to create an independent Edo State Sports Commission and a sports development fund. The bill backing these two institutions will be forwarded to you shortly. Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry if I've been very long-winded in trying to explain some of the modest achievements we've made in the last 1 year. But it is important that I do this to lay the basis for the outlook for 2018. We remain very positive that against the backdrop of stable oil prices, high domestic crude oil production volumes, and the renewed efforts by fiscal and monetary authorities to tackle deep-seated structural challenges in our economy, that the Nigerian economy will do well in 2018. Mr. Speaker, the budget I'm presenting to you today, which we have christened the budget of growth, is our proposal to usher us into a new phase of economic rejuvenation. It is anchored on the 6 pillars which we enunciated at the beginning of our administration, which we believe will drive our transformation so that our state becomes an economic hub. This growth vision will be driven by investments in infrastructure, reforms in our institutions, enhancement of our social welfare of our people, the repositioning of our culture and tourism sector to create jobs, as well as the sustenance of our environmental programs. In addition to the improvements in the national economy, specifically the rise in crude oil prices and the vote of confidence by development partners such as the World Bank and the private sector, amongst others, we believe that our economy is now on the path of progress. We envision a future that will provide jobs and the critical social and economic infrastructure for Edo people to realize their God-given potentials. The 2018 budget estimates. Mr. Speaker, in preparing our budget for 2018, we have leaned on the assumptions which have been made for the federal budget. And based on that, we believe that in terms of statutory allocation, we expect an increase from 48.7 billion in 2017 to 57.5 billion in 2018. We expect to receive VAT revenues of 11 billion from the estimates of 10 billion last year. We also anticipate that given the differential between the current prices being used for the budget and the current world market prices for oil, that there will be excess crude funding available to us. And we've estimated this amount to be 6.5 billion. So we expect the total revenues, the total receipts from federation sources, including the opening balances we'll carry over, to be 75 billion naira compared to 58 billion last year. We expect that our independent revenue from Edo State, the IGR, will be 30 billion compared to our estimate of 26 billion last year. We are very confident that we will achieve this goal. We expect that given our ability to pay counterpart funds, we will attract grants and aids of 10 billion naira this year compared to our estimate of 15 billion last year. Mr. Speaker, we believe that our total cash receipts will be 120 billion compared to 107 billion last year. While our recurrent expenditure has been kept at 66 billion, which is the same in the 2017 budget. We estimate that in the 2018 budget, we will spend 79.8 billion for capital compared to 61.8 billion for recurrent, and that we will have a budget deficit of 26.560 billion. Mr. Speaker, we therefore have a budget size of 146 billion 659 million 830,444 naira, which is a nominal 15% increase from the 2017 budget. This year's budget, as I said, is made up of 66.7 billion for recurrent and 79 billion for capital. From this analysis, Mr. Speaker, you will find out that the percentage of capital to recurrent in this year's budget is 54% capital to 46% recurrent. Like I've said, Mr. Speaker, I estimate for the budget is based on a $45 a barrel benchmark for crude oil price and a daily production of 2.3 billion barrels a day, as well as an increase in our IGR. The 2018 budget will build on the recovery we witnessed in 2017. We intend to revitalize the state economy by increasing capital spending. Hence, we envisage a capital to recurrent expenditure ratio of 54 to 46%. The deficit in our budget of 26 billion will be financed by a mix of internal and external loans. We estimate about 1.5 billion will be sourced from the Central Bank of Nigeria's special intervention funds targeted at agriculture for job creation, while the balance, 25.6, will be sourced from external projects specifically financed from the World Bank. From the World Bank funding, 11.1 billion has been embarked for project-specific funding of the Nigeria Erosion Watershed Management Project, NUMAP, the State Expenditure, Employment and Expenditure for Results Project, C4, and the Community and Social Development Project, CSDP, respectively. We have another 13.9 billion from the World Bank, which will be specifically for infrastructure funding. So in a summary, our focus in 2018 is that we are going to spend 51.7 billion on infrastructure, 9.7 billion on economic growth and employment enablers, 7.1 billion for institutional reform law and other reforms, 6.3 billion for education, 3.3 billion for health, and 1.4 billion for other sectors. From the allocation to the various sectors in the 2018 budget proposal, you will find that a larger part of the 2018 budget will be devoted to the development of physical and social infrastructure across the state to improve the standard of living of Edo people. Our government will consolidate on the gains we have made in winning investors to the state. As you see yourself, the Alaudaro's Investment Summit was a huge success. And I must thank Mr. Speaker and members of the House for your support in this laudable initiative. Since the summit a few weeks ago, we have been bombarded with inquiries from all over the world as investors have come to accept that Edo is indeed ready for business. The budget is expected to drive growth and progress in all sectors of the state. The priority areas of the proposed 2018 budget framework are social and physical infrastructure, for which, as I said, we have earmarked the sum stated above. But one salient feature of the 2018 budget, Mr. Speaker, is that we are very serious about boosting employment generation across the state. Therefore, we have put 9.7 billion on economic growth and employment enablers. Part of this amount, specifically 1 billion of this amount, will be targeted at the establishment of a skills development agency, which will be responsible for coordinating all Edo State's human capacity development initiatives, which are targeted at youths, women, and vulnerable groups. We will enhance the capacity of individuals for direct employment and entrepreneurship through this agency. Our government will continue to invest in the development of industrial parks across the state to turn around the fortunes of our economy to an industrial state, so that we can change the narrative that we, Edo State, are no longer a civil service state. The import of consolidating on reforms embarked on in the previous year is not lost on us. So as much as possible, as much as we are committed to accommodating private sector investment inflows, we are equally committed to strengthening the state's workforce, processes, institutions for optimal service delivery. To achieve this, 7.1 billion has been set aside for direct intervention in institutions, law and other reforms, and this will cover investments in the judiciary, governance, security, and institutions. We will continue the reforms in the administration of our state resources. We'll continue to improve the work environment. We'll continue to digitize our processes and provide faster and easier access to relevant government information. We have set aside the sum of 6.3 billion and 3.3 billion respectively for education and the health sector to further strengthen the gains we have made in ongoing basic education and TVET reforms. In the healthcare sector, our attention is going to be focused on primary health care and the health insurance for our people. To this end, the Primary Healthcare Board and the Edo State Health Insurance Commission are currently being set up. These agencies will ensure that we achieve the SDG targets for health and wellness of our people across the communities in Edo State. Mr. Speaker, permit me to end this budget presentation by thanking everyone who has made the last 1 year a remarkable and successful one for our administration. Our thanks go out to our party leaders, to the opposition parties, to our monarch, who has been a pillar of support to our administration, His Royal Majesty, Omonobade Dokwa Kolokolo, Obaiwai II. To all our traditional leaders across the various communities in Edo State, to the various groups, our women groups, our youth groups, to religious organizations, to the non-governmental organizations, the NGOs, 2018 budget proposal for your kind consideration.
May you please have a seat?
Speak.
Your Excellency,
I bet if you allow proof for us, may they know who you be.
You don't talk am now. You say I be chairman for appropriation. Appropriation means the people when be the committee when go give governor wetin he come talk just now. Now we go look the paper last before we go come give am to the house. Say the paper when governor present so e good make the house put hand. And once we do that, that paper becomes a very good document for the house to put hand.
Abe, what do you think about the budget and the operation be way Oga talk?
Well, the budget of about 146 billion is Christian budget of growth. And as you can see, last year we took off and we can't move. As we were moving, we discovered there is need for us to give the governor a budget of growth. Haven't done a budget to consolidate the previous the previous government. Now this budget, when we do so, now budget when the governor go take move with full speed as if say he dey run, make the economy of Edo State make it begin dey open. And if economy open, people wey no get before go come dey get. People wey no fit chop before go come dey chop. People wey no get work go get work. Because economy not be one side. As the company they come, one mama put go dey sell something for the place there. That economy for that person, it don't open. He go feed the train the children. As those company dey, that woman go dey buy rice for market. That economy for where they buy rice, it don't open. That one go feed train the children. He go feed take care of the family. So when they talk about economic growth, it's not one-sided. When there is growth and there's an enabling environment for company to come, when those companies come, even the sweepers for that company go feed they take care of their family. So with this growth now, which means Edo State will expand, the life of our people will come better pass as it did before.
Abe, who you be?
My name na Comrade Jude Obasomi. I be civil society actor. I dey work for one NGO based in Ekoma, Josie Maria Escriva Foundation. I'm a right activist.
Wetin you think? You think say e go favor the people or now wetin they no go feel like?
Okay, and thank you very much. We thank God say our governor he quickly come present the budget. You know too till like other time go be say go enter December, even enter January. But no be to just come present budget. Wetin you go beg the House of Assembly say make they look the budget well line by line. How you go take favor the people. Now the government don't come talk you know. The next thing is for the house to do their own part, and the next thing too now for the government too now to bring out the money where they say they want to run the project where they go take care of the hardship for the land. Because budget now plan. The next thing now how you want to implement your budget. May no come be say when the thing don't they start by January, February, March, and they come they say man. We know first plan before now, the money don't reduce, they no go fit pay salary, they no go fit control our road for Ekoma, they no go fit provide that. Government now don't say okay, we will fit get so millions of billions of naira. So okay, now we go take plan so many things. May they start to do them. Now, may the House of Assembly support them where the people are waiting. Because if you look at it now, this one are the budget where we say this governor now won't start to implement where we say now in right time from the beginning to the last. Why I talk like that? You don't spend almost a year plus now, so you don't understand the waiting day for inside government house. So this budget where you now you come right now, you know go be talk say now say you don't understand how much Edo State they get, how much you spend. So you don't spend 1 year, so you're supposed to understand. So people they wait eagerly say, Augusta, hit the ground, make you do better thing for us. Now we define in terms of education, empowerment of women, roads, healthcare, and the host of others. Make it start the work for us. So far don't too plenty.
I bet if you make my people know who you be for us.
Now me be Honorable Paul Ombamu, the Commissioner for Communications and Orientation.
What do you think about this budget for our people then?
Now better budget, now to ensure say good work where this government don't start. We characterize or make up for all waiting happen for the past 1 year, we go build on this year. So that the employment, investment, job creation, and infrastructure, road, all the other things, health, wetin concern human being, health, education, all they will touch am. That's why money for that one to do all those work, e big pass the one way they will take do what they call recurrent, where they follow hand. And the one way solid, where you go put structure for ground, put house, put building, put roads, put hospital, put schools for ground, e big pass. The one they want to create opportunities, employment, all they there. So this government, they focus, they know what thing they do. And not they make mistake. You want me we realize at least 90% of the budget performance. So that if we not make 95%. And the governor serious about them. Don't present an House of Assembly here. No wuru nothing. He projects the way we say Edo people go happy and happy for life.
My country people, now on top of the budget matter, and we day Mr. Speaker office. Mr. Speaker, I greet you. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, my sister. You are back again.
I don't still come back. My country people send me come meet you this time. I don't still come. I want to ask you, this budget we wanna do today, what it be about?
The budget what we do today, now about Edo people. As a legislator, one of the work what they do be say make we appropriate money. How government go spend money for the people. The budget, you got government no fit spend money without House of Assembly approving it. Government no even fit spend 1 naira. So what thing they want do be say for year 2018, the money when government of Edo State won't spend to take do road, to take pay salary, to take build schools, to take build hospital, to take do so many things when be say go bring Edo to lame life. Now the budget estimate they bring. We when the House of Assembly we go look at the budget well we go say okay for already they want construct TV road is going on, okay make we put money there. We go look at all the local government like that wetin government want do and wetin they want use the money do, we go approve am for government. By the time we approve it, it becomes a law for Edo State. Then government go dey carry the money as e dey come. No be say the money don dey ground o, it's an expectation. But we have to prepare for it. Now wetin we do today be that. So as the money dey come, government go dey use am do developmental things for the people. And salary when you hear say they pay so, na from the money they go dey pay salary. Say the budget na the budget of growth. Before there is budget of consolidation, there is budget of actualization, there is budget of hope. This one na budget of growth. Before when our Baba Adam Sochomole did there, he brought budget of consolidation, budget of hope, budget of actualization. You know, if you want to go through Abraham Maslow theory of need, the highest stage is stage of self-actualization. And those states have gotten to that stage. If I am very convinced. So we don't reach the stage of self-actualization, no, because we are now a model for the whole Nigerian people. Now having attained that stage of self-actualization, how we go call make sure say every place where they do make it grow. Now this government won't do. That's why they say this budget na budget of growth. Those days when governor they do something, they go say they plant flower. You remember when they say Oshomole they plant flower? Those flowers when they accuse Oshomole say they plant, those flowers now have transformed into the beautiful Sapele Road, the beautiful Airport Road 6 lane, the beautiful Akwakpava Road 4 lane, the Central Hospital, state of the art Central Hospital. If you go there, you go be like say na hotel you dey, whereas na hospital na like that e be for Obodo Igbo. So those flowers when they accuse Oshomole that time say they plant, so it has transformed into all this beautiful infrastructure. For every ward in Edo State, you will see red roof secondary school or primary school. Now those flowers when we plant that time. So how we go continue to grow this thing? Now this budget is all about. That's why they say it's a budget of growth. And as a House of Assembly, we go do our well. When they say we go open all the paper of the budget, we go approve them so that there will be more development. That is what we have waited to do, so that the people will be happy. Our joy be say make Edo people they jollificate, make them they happy. If you they happy now, Edo State House of Assembly they happy. But if you not happy, we not go happy. So our goal and our aim is to make sure say Edo people happy. That is why as an assembly we always cooperate with the government of Edo State and OBASEKI.
Mama, I greet you. Let me tell my country people for house who you be for this matter.
My name na Aja Miriam Abubakar. Now me be commissioner for budget and economic planning for Edo State.
On top this budget matter wey happen for House of Assembly today, how you take see the matter and wetin the budget really be for us?
Governor don carry man talk now. Say this one na budget of growth, not be so. That means we don't come out for sustainability. We are not sustaining again. Now grow we go. So now we dey fly. Now fly we want fly for 2018. Now what is that budget they show you be that? Because if you see the budget for 2017, now it was 127. And this budget now is 146.6. That is about over 40% growth. So now fly we won't fly to make sure that everybody, both young, old, for Edo State, enjoy this government, and they enjoy the good things when go come from this government. Berekete.
This budget matter now. The people of Edo State, how you go take favor them well? Because now different say the matter dey ground, say governor don't talk am. But how the people want to benefit from the matter?
For area of agriculture, we there for ground though. We won't create we won't create job for youth. This agriculture we won't do so. We don't want do am the way when we dey do am before. We won't do am in such a way that even graduates they go enter, they can carry their leg enter agriculture. They go do agriculture with us. You understand? Not be saying na agriculture of old people. Now we won't do so. They say now the old people, now poor people, now won't do agri. No, graduate go do, youth go do. You understand? And so government they put plenty money aside. When they go give people, we go group them, give them money, make they take grow agriculture, and we get people for ground. When we say by the time they produce, not be say when I don't produce finish, you go buy them from me now. Those people they when they call them off takers, they go just carry this agricultural product from you, and they don't carry and go, and you go happy. You when you plant, you go happy. Person when buy them from you, he go happy. Then in another area when we want look again, area of health. The governor is so passionate about health of his citizens, because he say now when you well, now you go feel do every other thing. If you dey sick, you not feel, and that is why he's paying more a lot of attention to healthcare centers. You see, every community must get not be say until you reach where big hospital dey. Now you go get medical care. No, for every community, you want to make sure every community say healthcare dey. When you get headache, when you get belle pain, when stomach dey run you, you get where you go run to. And he won't put out again for education. He say he want wetin you dey look at be say basic education. He say for him won't catch them young. No be because they say when you build house, if the foundation get problem, by the time you build and finish, either it crack or it go fall. Not be so. So if we pay attention to those small children from 1 year old, and you can't give them better sounding education, train teachers, make they train them well. By the time they reach primary 6, from there, now fly they go there. Not be so. Those are the areas where then technical education. The man they there, the governor they there, Brekete. He say he want to revive all our technical education, so that skill acquisition. If you not feel go school, make you learn something now. Not be everybody go school. But as you not go school, you go learn work. You go they work for yourself. Because this 200,000 job when they talk, not be say you go wear white collar job. Not be what you mean by that. You go learn handwork. Then government go give you starter pack. Anything when you learn, go give you starter pack. Then you go start. That one not be empowerment. Now all the things when you want to be that. So you go touch the life of everybody for Edo State.
My people, na the matter on a don hear so. It means say this thing not be ordinary thing no. Na matter way strong, way stand gidigba. It means say no be say governor just dey talk this matter. Na matter way don't stand, and this our budget so now for the country people. Now talk how they talk this for Live Media.